Brian Mudd Show is on News Radio 610 WIOD.
All right, how young should we go? You know, we had the news that one Miami area doctor actually submitting their 1-year-old for a vaccine experiment, for a study. 1-year-old. A lot of parents appear to be pretty nervous about not going that young, certainly, but even those between the ages of 5 and 11. Of course, we're right now in that window. You have Pfizer's petition to try to allow for the FDA approval of vaccinations as young as 5. What are parents saying? Lisa Miller joining us once again to talk about this with LWM Associates, lwm-associates.com, the website. All right, Lisa, what are we seeing here?
Well, good morning, Brian, and thanks for having me back. Basically, on this vaccination, the key insight that we're seeing is that the younger the child is, the higher the parents' hesitancy to actually get the vaccine. So when you look at parents of children, under 11 years old, it's basically 45 to 46% of them the parents themselves have not gotten vaccinated. And a lot of it's either due to, I just don't want to do it, or I'm waiting for more testing.
So you bring up a good point, and that is often the views of a parent would be reflected in the decisions among, their kids. But above and beyond that, when you get younger, there have been these different considerations. Obviously there have been a lot of concerns about, young women, for example, and fertility concerns that have persisted throughout the course of vaccinations and a lot of we don't know what the long-term implications might be. Are we seeing that as we go younger, there are greater concerns?
Yeah, I do think it is that unknown about the side effects. And just one of the interesting facts is over the course, as you know, I've been tracking this since March of last year, but in general, women and particularly moms have just been more anxious than dads in general for a lot of reasons. But then as it relates to vaccine hesitancy for themselves, as recently as just about 6 weeks ago, moms were 2 times more likely to say no thanks to the vaccine versus dads. The good news, and again, politics aside, but that anxiousness has settled down a little bit among moms, but it's still pronounced.
Lisa, one of the things I was wondering, we're starting to see it, it's interesting because on one hand, you have the vaccine companies. So you have your Pfizer, your Moderna, your J&J. They have every business reason in the world to say, our vaccine is really, really good, but only for this short window of time because they want to sell boosters. They'll make money by having a one-and-done vaccine, in perpetuity. So as you have these companies that are submitting their research that say you really need to get boosters, it undermines, to a certain extent, those that already had some hesitancy. Are you seeing a connection between the advent of boosters and the petitioning by Moderna for theirs still, and what the views are among those that were already hesitant?
Well, what's interesting is I have a study going out this weekend, so I'm going to actually ask that question about the third booster. So I don't have that data yet, but what I can tell you, what's interesting is what I've seen across this pandemic is that the more you kind of push maybe, call it the fear of not taking the vaccine, the people that are hesitant become more anxious. So it's almost like we should be flipping that message a little bit, which is happy, joyful living, not scary, sad to take the vaccine. So it's just a really interesting thing. The more we push fear, the more fearful the anxious people get.
Well, and to that end, Lisa, when, here we are with the advent of mandates, and every day you hear about another big organization that's terminating people that are unvaccinated. And, who knows if, the Biden OSHA rule is going to come down sometime soon or not. It would sound like, based upon the psychology, what you're fighting here, the mandate is, if anything, is a way to get people to dig their heels in against it.
Yeah, what's interesting is a separate topic is that I did look at the data, the same data by part-time and full-time workers that are unvaccinated. And so among part-time workers that are currently unvaccinated, about 68% of them said they'd rather lose their job than get vaccinated. And for the full-time workers, it was about 52%. So there's a lot. The people that are unvaccinated, with people working from home, and we've seen how the economy, people have opted out, to go back to work. So I would imagine that those that have the means or have the opportunity to find other jobs, they may actually just choose to get another job if they're able to get one.
That is great information. Really appreciate it, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.